In the murky depths of the swamps lies the world's deadliest predator. Wait, that's just a dragonfly. Oh wait, this is the world's deadliest predator? Across the entire planet, Earth's predators have developed a lot of ways to kill. Some use massive teeth or 6-inch claws. Others get a bit more creative, using things like neurotoxins or literal electricity to get the job done. Some will just headbutt you until you're dead. It's a diverse group of killers, and usually when we ask which one is the deadliest, the answer is, it depends. To a rat, a python is the deadliest thing it could come across. But if you're an insect, that same rat is basically a god of death. And the python is actually pretty chill. He doesn't go after you if you're an insect, and he even helps kill off the god of death, rats. So the deadliest predator may not be the biggest or the scariest. It's the one most efficient at killing exactly what it wants to kill. Because at the end of the day, being deadly just means being really, really good at making sure your target doesn't walk away alive. With that in mind, most people would probably put their money on a lion. I mean, it's a 300-pound cat with knives on its hands. How is a zebra supposed to survive that? Or maybe you'd pick us, since we literally have technology and guns. And yet, no mammal, not lions, not wolves, and definitely not us, even comes close to the kill record of the dragonfly. It's a little hard to wrap your head around, because to us, dragonflies are completely harmless. They don't bite us, they don't sting us, and to date, no dragonfly is known to have ever killed a human. At least, not directly. But to an insect, the dragonfly isn't a harmless garden bug. It's their worst nightmare. If they see one, there is no escape. You are dead. To understand why the dragonfly is in a league of its own, we have to take a look at how hard it actually is to hunt for a living. Hunting from the air is essentially the hard mode of evolution. You aren't just running left and right on a flat surface, you're navigating in full 3D, trying to snag a target that has spent millions of years learning how to outmaneuver you. It's a high-stakes game of physics where one slightly wrong pivot means the whole dive was a failure. Usually, when we think of the top dogs of the sky, or, well, top birds, our mind goes to things like the peregrine falcon. They're famous for those high-speed vertical dives where they zoom past their prey and snatch it mid-air. It looks incredibly cool for a nature documentary. But in reality, one study showed they only actually catch their dinner about 23% of the time. Hawks and owls aren't doing much better. Hawks single out individual birds from a flock with a success rate of about 22.5%, and owls, even with their silent feathers and night vision, clock in at around 25%. Essentially, these elite aerial assassins are spending 75% of their time being embarrassed by a pigeon or a field mouse. Lions, as mentioned before, the supposed kings of the savannah, succeed less than 30% of the time. If they go after a zebra, the zebra usually wins by just leaving. The only mammals that really put up a fight for the title are African wild dogs. When they work together as a pack, they can hit a success rate of 67%, which is the best case scenario for anything with fur. But all those numbers pale in comparison to the 98% success rate of the dragonfly. In the world of predators, this isn't just cool, it's a biological glitch. It means that despite millions of years of evolution, prey of the dragonfly has still not caught up with a way to defend themselves remotely successfully. It means that if a dragonfly locks onto you, the math says you are basically already digested. There is no hunt. The hunt is already over. It is the most efficient killing machine that evolution has ever produced, and it's been doing it since before the dinosaurs even existed. So, how? How is a bug a fourth of the size of a toothbrush maintaining a near-perfect kill record while also doing the most difficult form of hunting? To get a 98% success rate, you can't just be lucky. You have to be a literal flying supercomputer. And it all starts with the eyes. If you look at a dragonfly, you'll notice that their head is basically just eyes. They have these massive compound structures made up of nearly 30,000 individual lenses. To put that in perspective, while we see the world in a single high-def image, the dragonfly is essentially seeing in a 360-degree panoramic view where every single lens is tracking movement. They don't just see the fly. They see the fly, the wind speed, the trajectory, and exactly where that fly is going to be 3 seconds from now. While a hawk has to chase its prey, a dragonfly just intercepts it. It's not a pursuit. it's a collision course. But having the best vision in the world doesn't matter if you can't move fast enough to use it. And this is where dragonflies are the most terrifying. Most flying insects, like bees or flies, move their wings in pairs. But the dragonfly has 4 wings, and each one is controlled by a separate muscle. This means they can move each wing independently. Because of this, they have the most insane flight mechanics in the animal kingdom. They can hover, they can fly sideways, they can literally fly backwards. Peregrine falcons are sick hunters, true, but they're like a high-speed fighter jet. A dragonfly is more like an advanced alien technology UFO that can go in whatever direction it feels like. They can pull maneuvers that almost defy the laws of physics just to make sure they end up in the exact right spot to ruin an insect's afternoon. But the actual kill doesn't happen with their teeth, it happens with their legs. As they close in on their target, they tuck their 6 spiny legs together to form a predatory basket. They aren't trying to bite the fly out of the air, they're trying to catch it in a net. Once the prey is inside that basket, the spines lock it in place and it's game over. And for some reason, despite this being terrifyingly efficient, they're still just the pretty bugs we like to see in our gardens. It's almost a bit of a cosmic joke. Evolution spent millions of years perfecting the ultimate aerial assassin, gave it the most advanced vision system on the planet and the fight capabilities of a sci-fi spaceship, and then decided to make it about the size of a paperclip. I'm okay with that though, because if these things were 10 feet long, we wouldn't be talking about their success rates. We'd be hiding, or also dead. Fortunately for us, we're too big to fit in the basket. But if you're a mosquito, you're not just in trouble, you're statistically non-existent. So how does that interpretation actually work though? See, most predators are reactive hunters. If a hawk is chasing a pigeon, it's basically playing a high-speed game of follow the leader. The pigeon turns left, the hawk turns left. It's a constant, exhausting struggle to catch up to where the prey is. And this is normal because, well, we can't predict the future. But the dragonfly doesn't really do that. With interception hunting, instead of flying towards where the prey is right now, the dragonfly's brain calculates exactly where that prey is going to be. This requires some insane neural processing. In the time it takes for a fly to even realize it's being hunted, the dragonfly has already mapped out its flight path and committed to the kill. This isn't a conscious decision either. It's built into their hardware. Their nervous system is wired for selective attention, meaning they can tune out every other bug in the field and focus entirely on one single target. It's effectively a biological heat-seeking missile. Most animals, including us, have a slight delay between seeing something and reacting to it. But for a dragonfly, that gap is almost non-existent. They are specialized neurons that process visual information and send it directly to the wing muscles in a fraction of a second. By the time the prey even thinks about turning, the dragonfly is already there. It's the same reason they're so hard to swat. You're trying to hit something that is reacting to your movement before your brain has even finished telling your arm to move. If nature was trying to build the perfect, most unfair hunter possible, this is it. It's not even that these creatures are waiting super patiently for the perfect moment to hunt so that they can keep their KD ratio good. A single dragonfly can eat hundreds of mosquitoes in a single day. By the time it reaches the end of its life, its kill count is in the thousands. And for some reason, they've decided to specialize in eating the things we hate the most. Their diet consists almost entirely of mosquitoes, gnats, and agricultural pests that would otherwise be destroying crops or spreading disease. They are, quite literally, the most effective form of biological pest control on the planet. If you've ever enjoyed a summer evening without being completely drained of blood by mosquitoes, you probably have a dragonfly to thank for it. It's a weird scale illusion. They're the main reason the insect population hasn't completely taken over the world. So, if the dragonfly is hitting a 98% success rate, why isn't everything else doing the same? Why are we stuck with lions and hawks that are essentially failing 3/4 of the time? It really comes down to the cost of failure. For a lion, missing a kill isn't just an inconvenience, it's an energy crisis. They have to spend hours stalking, followed by a massive, heart-pumping sprint. And if the zebra gets away, that's a huge chunk of calories gone for zero reward. They're basically gambling their survival on every hunt. If they have too many bad days in a row, they simply run out of fuel and die. Even the great white shark, the supposed king of the ocean, only succeeds about half of the time, and that's only if the conditions are perfect. If a seal sees them coming, the shark is basically just doing a very fast, very expensive belly flop. But if they're this good at their job, you're probably wondering, why haven't they finished it? If a dragonfly wins 98% of the time and eats hundreds of bugs a day, how is there even a single mosquito left on the planet? Why hasn't the dragonfly just won evolution and eaten its way into an empty world? It comes down to a classic battle of quality versus quantity. The dragonfly is the ultimate quality assassin, but the mosquito follows the safety in millions strategy. While one dragonfly is basically a literal god of the sky to them, 10,000 mosquitoes are busy being born in a bucket of rainwater behind your house. Even a 98% kill rate doesn't mean much when the prey is reproducing at a rate of 1,000% every week. They also have a bit of a scheduling conflict. Dragonflies are diurnal. They hunt during the peak of the day when the sun is out and their flight muscles are at the warmest. Most mosquitoes, however, are big fans of the night shift. By the time the mosquitoes come out in force to ruin your barbecue, the dragonflies have mostly clocked out and gone to sleep. It's basically two different industries sharing the same office space but never meeting at the water cooler. And then there's the fact that dragonflies aren't actually flying for most of their lives. For every few weeks a dragonfly spends as a terror in the sky, it's spent up 2 years underwater as a nymph. Down there, they're still terrifying. They have a hinged lower lip that shoots out like a xenomorph's inner jaw to grab tadpoles and small fish. But they're limited to whatever is in the pond. They aren't the kings of the world yet. They're just the kings of the mud. In the world of biology, a 98% success rate is actually kinda dangerous, for the predator having the success itself. Usually, evolution keeps things in a tight balance. It's an arms race where the predator gets a little faster and then the prey gets a little smarter. If a predator ever truly wins and starts killing everything it looks at, it accidentally commits species-wide death on itself. If a pack of lions suddenly developed a 98% kill rate, the savannah would be a ghost town in about 2 weeks, and the lions would be the next ones to starve. But the dragonfly is the rare exception where the predator is allowed to be a god, and that's only because their prey is, well, mosquitoes. It's not necessarily that other predators are bad at hunting, it's just that if they're too good, there's nothing left to hunt. Mosquitoes don't invest in armor, or speed, or intelligence. It's the prey that determines the success rate too, not just the predator. It's a bizarre loop where the only reason the dragonfly is allowed to be the most successful hunter in history is because its prey is the most successful breeder in history. One is a master of quality, the other is a master of quantity, which skews their number as high as possible. Since a dragonfly is about as dangerous to a person as a floating dandelion, we just think of them as pretty garden ornaments. They don't have the dramatic theme music of a great white or the bloodstained cinematography of a lion documentary. There's no roar, no struggle, and no dramatic chase. There's just a tiny snap in the air and a mosquito is gone. It's a quiet, invisible massacre happening millions of times a day in your own backyard while you're busy drinking lemonade or watching this new channel, right? And while hitting a 98% success rate at the size of a paperclip is impressive, it's even crazier when you realize that evolution once tried this exact same design on the scale of a predator you'd actually be afraid of. Meet the Dragonflies. Around 300 million years ago, during the Carboniferous period, the sky didn't belong to birds or bats. It belonged to these things, specifically Meganeura and its cousin Meganeuropsis. These weren't just big bugs. They had wingspans of over 2.5 feet wide. To put that into perspective, if one of these flew in your living room today, it would have the same wingspan as a red-tailed hawk. And the terrifying part is, the hunting strategy was exactly the same. They had the same massive compound eyes, the same spiny predatory basket, and the same 4-wing flight system. The only difference was the menu. At that size, they weren't just clearing out mosquitoes. They were the apex predators of the sky, likely snatching up other massive insects, small amphibians, and even early lizards. But because they were so massive, they weren't quite as nimble as these little guys we see today. Modern dragonflies are like precision drones, but the giant griffinflies flew a bit more like birds, with a slower, more deliberate wing beat. They didn't need to be quite as twitchy because, at that time, there was nothing else in the sky that could challenge them. It's proof that the dragonfly design isn't just a lucky fluke of the modern day. It's a blueprint that worked so well, it's been the gold standard for aerial killing since the first dinosaur was even a thought. It is unlikely though that they were as high of a percentage success as modern dragonflies, because when prey is that big, numbers are harder to generate. There's only so many resources in the world. I'm just glad we live in the mini dragonfly era though, because I don't need to be stalked by the giant bug version of Batman when I step outside.
I am
Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. This channel is actually new, so please leave some suggestions in the comments for future videos. Chances are, I'll probably take one of your guys' suggestions honestly.